E3 2016 has officially begun, and before Nintendo buried us all in a ton of Zelda news, we got to see the first gameplay for Pokémon Sun and Moon. It only covered a single route, the small town near the platform, and a couple battles, yet there was a ton of new information if you knew where to look. And while an analysis is coming, we first wanted to point out some small details from the Sun and Moon presentation that you may have missed. So let's pull back the curtain. First up is your mother's Meowth, which actually has a unique cry that's actually closer to a cat's meow. It made us wonder if classic Pokemon's cries had been changed in general, but that's just not the case. Ladybug has the same cry as always. Your mom's Meowth might not be able to talk, but at least it's a little unique. And speaking of Ladybug, one was caught during the demonstration which showed that it's number 20 in the Alola Pokedex, or specifically the Mele Mele Pokedex, as the island's name gets dropped during Hala's speech before the battle between Hal and the player. But we also get to see Ladybug's new Pokedex entry for Sun and Moon, which reads, "They are timid and grow uneasy when not in a swarm with others of their kind. The pattern on their back differs slightly from one to another." Interestingly, we also noticed a new option to see the actions of Pokemon in the Pokedex, though we're not sure what actions are being mentioned specifically. Are they different Pokemon move animations, or could they be the Pokemon's idle animations when waiting in battle? We just don't know yet. We saw the Pokedex one more time when the Treehouse demonstration caught a Pick-a-Peck, and while its Pokedex entry provides the same information as the Pokemon website, we did see two things of note. First is that Pick-a-Peck is number 10 in the Mele Mele Pokedex, right after Poplio's second evolution. Second is that the Pokedex shows that Pick-a-Peck will have 2 evolutions, and this is confirmed by the Pokeball symbols on the top screen. There are 2 next to Pick-a-Peck's portrait, which indicates the 2 evolutions. After all, when Ladybug was caught, only 1 Pokeball symbol was next to it, as Ladybug only has 1 evolution. Moving on, we got a taste of some of the trainer animations in the game. When traveling through tall grass, we can actually see the protagonist wading through it, showing that it takes effort to move. But there's even more beyond that. During the battle with the lass, we can see both our trainer and her going into a thinking pose while waiting for the player to choose an action. It's nothing major, but nonetheless a nice detail that gives the trainer's personality. It turns out that every trainer the player battles during the demonstration shares at least one mannerism though. When the lass, preschooler, and even Hal have their Pokemon attack, they point forward just like the trainers from the anime. Like there, it shows the trainers getting into the battle rather than just looking passive the entire time. While we're on the subject of Hal, did you notice that when you go to meet him, he actually has his Litten out of its Pokeball? Now it's impossible to say if this will have any real meaning, like your Pokemon appearing outside of their Pokeballs in the overworld, or something completely new, but it's interesting to see another trainer interact with their Pokemon in this way. Hal then goes on to mention tonight, but that leaves us wondering, is this a set time that Pokemon Sun and Moon follows, or does his dialogue change depending on the time of day? After all, the Treehouse mentions how you got your starter yesterday. Could time be a little more structured this time around? It's then that we meet Hala, who talks quite a bit during this opening section, though only one line applies to Hal. When the battle between yourself and Hal is about to begin, Hala introduces Hal as the grandson of the Kahuna. So, based on our previous theory that Hal is Hala's grandson, does that mean we now know Hala's role? It looks like he's the leader of this community. He then goes on to talk about a being called Tapu Koko, which seems to be the guardian Pokemon of Mele Mele Island. So that begs the question, is Tapu Koko the Pokemon's name? It would be the first time a Pokemon had a name that wasn't a single word. Or is Tapu Koko a kind of special name for this possible Pokemon? We obviously don't know, but Hala does mention that the reason the player is taking part in this battle against Hal is because you met him. At these words, the crowd reacts and one person refers to Tapu Koko as a curious little thing. While it being a little thing could just be a turn of phrase, it could mean much more. Each island has its own guardian deity Pokemon. These platforms appear all over Alola, and now we know that they're used for special festival battles in order to appeal to Tapu Koko. Is it possible that Tapu Koko and potentially others could be a set of legendary Pokemon in the same vein as Uxie, Mesprit, and Azelf? And we may even know where Tapu Koko is located on Mele Mele. One of the locations on Oahu, the island on which Mele Mele is based, is the Koko Crater, It's located on the southeastern edge of the island and looks just like the mountain with the crater on top of Mele Mele. That crater may be where Tapu Koko is located, and could it look similar to the souvenir from X and Y? After all, it was described as representing a protector. Before we end this short look at Pokemon Sun and Moon's Treehouse demonstration, did you see that the Pokeball items now glisten from a distance, making them more noticeable? And each route now has a short blurb about it, just like the towns in previous games. What's interesting is that it mentions a spectrum, which may refer to a color spectrum. After all, Mele Mele means yellow in Hawaiian, and there's a quick shot of a rainbow when the game is transitioning into battle. These are just a few of the details that Pokemon Sun and Moon's gameplay demonstration showed off. Some are obvious while others less so, but it's all building to what seems to be a great entry in the Pokemon series. We're excited to see what else it has in store. Thanks for watching, and if you noticed any small details of your own, let us know in the comments. If you liked this video, be sure to subscribe to GameXplain for more on Pokemon and other things gaming.